Mercury Dime, always one of my favorite coins that we've ever done. The United States government, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Mercury Dime, made it in solid gold.
Wow.
It is the rarest Mercury Dime. It is actually a coin. It is actually a dime. It was completely, utterly, and totally sold out from the United States Mint in 17 minutes.
17 minutes?
17 minutes. They turned away hundreds of thousands of orders.
Gosh.
The coin sold for double its issue price almost immediately. We had a limited edition of 1,789. We literally mobilized an army of people to be able to buy these. I've got 49 of the coins left. Look at that. 5-star customer pick. Now,
perfect.
That's at $4.99. I haven't raised the price. The gold in here, gold has gone up hundreds of dollars an ounce since we originally bought these. Since I bought it at the old price, look at this. It is solid gold. It is one of the rarest coins made by the United States government and the rarest Mercury Dime. I have got it in SP70. So when you look to collect something, you want something that is thematically correct. Well, you've got this 100 years old in solid gold. It is the only solid gold Mercury Dime. It is the rarest Mercury Dime. It's certified in perfect condition. It's first day of issue. It is a Centennial Special Edition gold coin, and it's a 5-star customer pick that in the face of incredibly rising gold prices, we have held the price on this for a very few of you at only $499. It remains one of the best-selling coins that we ever had, as evidenced by the fact that over 1,700 of them already spoken for. I have about 4 dozen of them remaining. Once again, even in the face of gold prices going up 5, 10, 15, 20%, have not raised it at all.
Thank you for that.
First coin show
we did
in the books for you.
We had fun. Oh, thank you so much. I learned so much. I appreciate everything. What a great coin celebration. Thank you so much, Mike. And